We welcome you to our sessions. Let's move on to the question. A business suspense account appears as follows. Salary is 150 debit, opening balance 100 credit, sales 50 credit, balance agreed. Which statements are correct? The salaries account had been overcast by 150. The sales account had been overcast by 50. Total debit had been 100 less than the total credits in the trial balance. 4 options are given. Move on to the subject. A suspense account is a temporary account generally created on two type of situations. One, when a detail of a transaction is not clear and unsure until it is properly determined, it is allowed to rest on an account which is a suspense account. The other situation, more common, when there is a disagreement between the debits and the credit totals of a trial balance, a suspense account is created to resolve all the mistakes and the differences. Suspense account can be opened either with a debit balance or a credit balance depending on the circumstances. When a debit side total of a trial balance is greater, the opening balance for suspense account would be credit. If the credit side is more, then the opening balance would be debit. As a passing remark, suspense account is the only account which is opened with a single entry without the double entry being made elsewhere. Then, by further checking and investigation, all errors would be identified and will be corrected accordingly. There are two situations. One, all the errors are identified and corrected. Then a new trial balance, a corrected trial balance is prepared and the company will proceed to make their preparation of final accounts. In the second situation, there may be few errors which are still not identified. In that case, in order to proceed with the draft account, they may use this as one of the balances in the trial balance. In case of a remaining debit balance, this has a possibility of treating this as either an expenditure or an asset. But in line with the prudence concept, this will be treated only as an asset, account receivable, a current asset. If the remaining balance is credit, it has the possibility of showing it as an income or a liability. But as per prudence concept, this will be shown only as a liability, that is account payable, a current liability. Now let us look at some of those errors. All errors don't result in an adjustment in the suspense account. Some and some will not. For an example, single entry, where the prime entry is made correctly, the second entry is not made. Say, electricity charge of 7,000 entered in the cash book but not in the ledger account. Obviously, this will affect the trial balance. Unequal entry, where a prime entry, say rent of 7,000 is paid, entered correctly in the cash book, but entered as 6,000 in the ledger account. Amounts are wrong. More common error is a transpose error, where 7,500 is entered as 5,700 or 8,200 is entered as 2,800. Just mixing up of the figures. Double debits or credits means the first entry is made correctly, it is posted maybe to the correct account twice. Next one is a posting error, which is more important to note, where an entry which is to be posted to debit side of the account by mistake is posted to the credit side of the mistake. Here, two things are taking place. One, there is a wrong credit. So in order to nullify that, in order to erase that, you will have to debit that account. Again, a debit entry is not made. Therefore, you will have to make a debit entry. Two debit entries will come. Balancing error. When the accounts are balanced, some mathematical mistakes could take place. Listing error is when we take all the accounts for the purpose of trial balance. Sometimes some mistakes could occur. All these errors will create some disagreement in the trial balance. Therefore, this will get corrected through the suspense account. But there are other errors where those will not cause any difference in the trial balance and mostly may get undetected. Let's look at some of them. Errors of omission, that means no prime entry is made by mistake, so no second entry will follow. The other one is errors of commissions, where the entries are made but the amounts are incorrect. The third one is posting. The entries are made to wrong accounts. Say a repair account have been made to a rent account. Compensating error, where a mistake has occurred and say it has caused a difference in a debit side by 500. But elsewhere, another separate mistake can take place that may be on the credit side, that again is 500. In that case, this mistake will get undetected because one compensates the other. Errors of principle, these may appear as same as the other errors, but impact of this is more in the final accounts. Example, an expenditure is shown as an asset or vice versa, or a income is shown as a liability or otherwise. Hope the subject is clear. Now let's go to the question to see how we can answer. First one, the salaries account have been overcast by 150. A salaries account is an expenditure account, therefore essentially a debit balance. If it is overcast, to correct it, you will have to credit salaries account. The next entry will be in the suspense account, which is there. Therefore, this statement is correct. The next one is sales account have been overcast by 50. Sales account is an income account or a revenue account. Therefore, essentially a credit balance account. In order to correct that, you will have to debit sales account by 50. The credit entry will have to come to the suspense account, which is there. Therefore, this statement is also correct. The third one, debit balance had been less by 100. That means the credit side is more. If the credit side is more, as we know, the opening balance will have to be debit, but which is not the case. Therefore, this statement is incorrect. Statements 1 and 2 are correct, which is reflecting in the answer A. Hope we are clear. Dear students, we have introduced a flashcard where the summary of our lecture is given in point form. The idea of this flashcard, when you read it, if you can remind yourself of the thing what we have discussed in the class, it means you have understood the lessons correctly. If there is an ambiguity or something which is not clear, then we recommend you to repeat at least once. You may retain this card and look at it every now and then. Every time when you look at, if you understand these things and if you can get reminded, it means it will stay in your memory. Dear students, these lessons are provided to you by our YouTube channel, SL Account School. We kindly request you to subscribe and also inform your friends and accounting students so all may get benefit. Thank you very much.